Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about Spike Prime robot design.
A couple months ago, I made this video about robot design. I highly recommend that you check it out if you haven't, since these tips still apply. However, if your team is using the Spike Prime or Robot Inventor to build your robot, here are a few additional things to keep in mind. Let's talk about ports first. There are 6 ports on the Spike Prime, as opposed to the 8 on the EV3. With the built-in gyro and 4 motors, Spike Prime robots will only have 3 sensors max, as opposed to the 4 sensors max on the EV3. I don't consider this a drawback, since in my opinion, 3 sensors are enough to navigate the field well, but I have seen many teams that use 4. If your team does decide to use the Spike Prime, in my opinion, the best way to use these 6 ports is to have 4 motors and 2 color sensors, since the gyro is already built into the Spike Prime kit. Placing the 2 color sensors at the front corners of the robot will greatly help it navigate the field accurately through line following and line squaring. Having 4 motors, the maximum, will allow you to complete more missions, since your robot will be able to power more attachment mechanisms. I don't recommend the ultrasonic sensor, because there are too many missions on the field that get in the way of wall following. Size. When it comes to FLL robot, smaller is better because a more compact robot will be able to move more freely around the field. With the Spike Prime's smaller motors and smaller sensors, you will be able to make much smaller robots than before. For example, here's my Spike Prime robot next to my EV3 robot. As you can see, the Spike Prime robot is much smaller, which means it can move into tighter spots near missions. Movement instability. There is one big problem with Spike Prime robots. Their movement is unstable. My high school's physics class is hard, so pardon me if I get any of these terms wrong. Inertia is an object's tendency to resist change in motion. Basically, the bigger and heavier an object is, the harder it is to change its direction. For example, a boulder is harder to push than a ping pong ball. Spike Prime robots are lighter than EV3 robots, which means that it'll be easier for them to change directions. This is not good, because the easier it is to change a robot's direction, the less accurately it will drive. Little disruptions, such as motor inaccuracies, will have a much larger effect on the low inertia Spike Prime than on the high inertia EV3. For example, watch how the Spike Prime robot wiggles while it drives. Now watch how the EV3 doesn't wiggle. Wheels. In my last robot design video, I recommended these 2 wheels because their sizes made them good balances between speed and accuracy. These new Spike Prime wheels will be great for FLL. The size of a wheel determines its speed and accuracy. Bigger wheels are faster and less precise, while smaller wheels are more precise but slower. Choosing the right wheel means finding the right balance between these 2 characteristics. I've tested both of these new Spike Prime wheels, and I think that they're fantastic. The blue wheels are very similar to these motorcycle wheels that I recommended in my last robot design video, and the black wheels are a bit slow but still perform very well. Lastly, let's talk about wires. Since the Spike Prime wire lengths cannot be adjusted, I strongly recommend building a wire rack so that you can manage the cables. You don't want wires that are too long to poke out everywhere, since they can get in the way of your wheels and your attachments. I hope this video helped your team out. If you enjoyed it, please hit like and subscribe for more tutorials coming out in the future about completing FLL replay missions.